Hello everyone, today we have a 2014 Jetta TDI. What we're doing is we are replacing the thermostat. Let me show you what the new one looks like. Here's the new one. This piece mats into the block. I like how the O-ring sits in like this and sits into the block. It's less of a chance to leak. Over here you have a plastic tube. This is the hardest part of the entire job, because there is a bolt, and I'll show you here in a second where it's at, but it's in the back, connected to the block behind the oil filter reservoir. Right here you have a coolant line, coolant line, coolant line. Those are easy, you know, just pop off the clamp, good to go, super easy. So, and two bolts right here, which are 10 mil. In order to get to this bolt, however, you need to remove the top bolt of the alternator, so you can rotate it this way. Just use a pry bar to pull it this way. Then at that time, you should be able to get enough room to put a swivel back there at a 10 mil and pop it off real quick. Fairly simple. In order to get to all this, you have to take off the throttle body. You have to take off the EGR. You have to take off the hose leading down to the inlet tube. Let's see what else. You have to unbolt the oil dipstick and pretty much just remove the lines, disconnect some cables, and there you go. So this is what I'm going to discuss about mainly in this video, this little piece right here. I'm going to sit the new one down and I'm going to show you where this is at. So you see that bolt back there just hanging out? See how it's behind the oil filter? That is connected to the block. So this little bolt connects to a plastic piece, which goes all the way over into this. There's the old one. Underneath that gray connector right there, underneath is where this slides in. But since there's not enough clearance over here to slide the thermostat that way, it's going to be nearly impossible to remove it unless you remove that screw. So you can go about it two ways. You can remove all of this crap, all of it, or what you need is an 8mm triple square. This is what it looks like. I don't know if the camera can focus on that or not, but so this is what the bolt back there, this is what the interface is. So what I did is, unfortunately, I only work on VWs every once in a while, so I had to cut this. I didn't have the bit, and it's not something you can purchase local unless it's at the dealer, and it's Sunday, so I can't really go purchase it. So I had to grind it was going to a 1/2-inch adapter. I had to grind that off and basically just take this, tape it on, so that way I have my own bit, and I go back there and I turn it. Easy peasy, right? Well, it actually was easy. So if you can find out this sort of trick, do that. Loosen that bolt back there behind the oil filter that I mentioned, and then once you have room to wiggle, you can wiggle and slowly move out the old one away from its plastic piece coolant line that it goes into. And here we have the thermostat out. I did have to take this bracket off. Made it easier for maneuvering off of this stupid plastic piece right here, which is right there. And like I said, if you don't take that bolt off, it will not have any wiggle room to wiggle it and shimmy it off to the left. See? Because that bracket is right there connected to the belt assembly. So loosen that bolt. You will save your life a lot of headache. Now it's just cleaning up the surface, and I did not have to remove the oil stick. Careful doing that, because if you do, you could potentially get coolant into your oil, and that is the last thing that you want. So I left it in there. O-ring's still intact and everything. I just loosened this so I could wiggle it just a little bit. I do not recommend removing the dipstick. All right, so now let's clean it up and get the new one in. All right, if you're this far, the installation or reinstallation is just reversible. So if you've already gotten this far, I'm pretty sure you have the confidence to put the new one back in and put it all back together and call it a day. Make sure you lubricate this end. You use Vaseline or any form of lubricant, just make sure you don't get it over here because you don't want it to contaminate the coolant. And at that point, just wiggle her in there. Make sure to connect this piece back there and then button up everything. Easy peasy.